Congressman Kevin Brady of Texas was among those who visited that facility yesterday. He joins us now. Kevin, we thank you for appearing once again here on America's Forum.
Well, good morning, JD. Thanks for having me.
I know you're busy with the Ways and Means Committee, but this story has seemingly overtaken everything. Tell us about what you saw yesterday at the shelter in Conroe.
You know, the shelter's been in place about 9 years, but obviously with the surge of the last 5 years, has seen a major increase in youth there. But our local officials, myself, our state legislators, had not been given access to the facility. Questions weren't being answered. So I requested a tour. We had our local leaders there. What we saw was really this not the problem, this symptom of the problem. Here's a facility that can hold up to 120 youth. Most of them it's about half full. Most of them about 14 to 17 years old. Most of them stay about 3 weeks, but they are released mainly to northeast states like Massachusetts, Maryland, New York. What's interesting is, almost all of them come across the U.S. border with a contact person, a name and a number for U.S. officials. Many of them bring their birth certificates with them. All of them claim violence back home. So my thought is they've been well coached in taking advantage of the 2008 law.
Let me just ask you this.
It's a symptom of the bigger problem.
Now, Kevin, let me just mention to our audience, while you were answering that question, we had up footage. It was file footage. It was not from the detention center that Kevin visited yesterday down in Conroe. Just want to follow up on this. The people you saw there, the majority were teenagers, 14 to 18 in your mind?
14 to 17, yeah.
Okay, and how many moms with babes in arms?
None there. Those were all unaccompanied minors. They can take age 10 through 17. Most of them, though, were the 14 to 17-year-olds, JD. Most of them are released within 3 weeks. And as you know, as you've talked about, less than half ever show up for the removal proceedings that follow 2 to 5 years down the road under the current way they do things.
The other thing that you said that I think needs some amplification, with what they have in their hands, it appears either they've been coached or perhaps, these are my words, not yours, this is premeditated. I mean, they have in place a contact number, etc., premeditated, not so much by the administration here, but by gangs, drug cartels, people like that, possibly.
Absolutely. JD, when we sent our House Republican team down to Central America, what they learned was that these human smugglers are very sophisticated. They offer discounts if you refer another family to them. They offer guarantees. If your child isn't accepted, that they will, in return, they'll send them back to the U.S. border again. But the other thing we heard from our Republican team, the parents down in Central America, they want their children back, and the governments are eager and ready to bring them back. And so that's why the House proposal is first secure the border, funding the National Guard, giving them full access to federal lands along the border. Secondly, change the law that's being abused. And instead of and we want to end house and release, which is really what's happening now. House them for a few weeks, release them into the country. We insist that they be detained humanely at the border, their cases filed within a week, and we staff enough temporary judges to make a decision within 3 days. We're determined not just to manage the problem, that's what the president wants to do, but to stop the problem and to promptly reunite these kids with their families. Back home.
And Congressman John Bachman here, I wanted to ask you, based on your visit down there, what you saw, and also what some of your fellow Texans are saying, including Ted Cruz, who say any type of negotiated deal on this should include the president drawing back the DACA situation and really pressing the president on those issues. How do you feel about those provisions?
Well, I support both suspending and reversing the DACA. There's no question about it. What I saw at the facility, it's clean. It's very sparse. Now, this is basic bunk bed. This is basic schoolroom, basic health care, because many of these young people are going through, as I said, in about 3 weeks. There's nothing fancy or frilly about it. It's a basic, social services like housing for the most part. But again, that's the symptom of the bigger problem.
But Representative Brady, how likely do you think it is that this bill will actually be passed and that they will reverse that 2008 law?
Well, yeah, as the president started out saying it needed to be changed, that had to be closed, he then was reverse course. The immigration reform at all costs group, got to him, and so there's no question, I think, at this point he'll veto it, although there's some signs he's rethinking again. But my point is, look, if the Senate won't act, the president won't act. The House still has responsibility to stop what's going on. So if anyone disagrees with funding the National Guard to help our Border Patrol, step up. If anyone disagrees we need to change that law, make a case. If you think we ought to continue house and release, which is what we're doing today, fine. We don't think so.
But Representative Brady, you're talking about the National Guard. The National Guard doesn't have any legal authority to do anything with these people that are coming across our borders.
No, but
so
what
some
we know
people will say that's a waste of money.
Well, from what Texas experience has been different. When we've deployed the National Guard to support the Border Patrol, support our own Texas Department of Public Safety, which is on the border as well. In fact, we see decreases. We see increases in apprehensions and decreases in crossings. And so our Texas experience is otherwise.
Let me return to what's going on Capitol Hill, Kevin. You've outlined this proposed bill. Senator Jeff Sessions of Alabama has sounded more than a cautionary note. He says if you go forward with this bill, specifically because it does not address what happens if the president moves forward of his own accord, at least as I understand it, that's why he says it is concerning to him, to paraphrase, he says you're giving license to a lawless president. How would you respond to Senator Sessions?
One, I have a lot of respect for Senator Sessions. I'm a big fan of his, but I'd respectfully and strongly disagree. Doing nothing, allowing the president to do what's exactly happening now with 370,000 children surging across the border, to me, that's surrendering to the president. Republicans, conservatives saying we're going to stop this and we're going to fund returning these kids to their home countries. I think that's the right answer.
Well, we really do appreciate your perspective on this, Kevin Brady. Maybe next time when you come by, we can talk more about issues of taxation and the Ways and Means Committee, but thank you for your update.
No,
on your
JD, and
visit.
thanks for your interest in the IRS as well. You've been great.
Well, Kevin, we always appreciate having you on, and maybe next time or sometime soon we'll be calling you Mr. Chairman in terms of the full Ways and Means Committee. Kevin Brady of Texas, thanks so much for your time. Interesting comments from KB right there. And
one of the nicest guys in Congress.
Oh, he is a wonderful guy, and he's not a nice guy who's going to finish last. We're finished for now. We're coming back with more next on America's Forum.